The void that learned our name. It began with silence. For centuries after the dauntless expedition, humanity thrived. The angels of light had not returned, yet their memory lingered in every colony, every ship, every monument built beneath alien suns. Humanity had become the architects of its own destiny, spreading faith not in gods, but in themselves. But in the 428th year of the renewal era, the stars began to dim. Astronomers aboard the Aurora Gate noticed it first, an entire cluster of stars in the Perseus arm fading one by one, their light swallowed not by dust or shadow, but by nothingness. Dr. Aidan Sorrell, heir to the dauntless legacy and great-grandson of Mira Solon, stood before the observation deck and whispered. Space doesn't just stop shining. Something's eating it. He didn't know how right he was. The Aurora Gate was sent to investigate the dark cluster. What they found was not a nebula, not a black hole, but a wound. A tear in space itself, a sphere of absolute void larger than a star system. It reflected nothing, absorbed everything. No matter it escaped, not light, not sound, not time. As they approached the event horizon, their instruments screamed with static, then began to whisper. Faint, human voices. Help us. It's cold here. They see us through the dark. The crew froze. The signals weren't coming from inside the ship. They were coming from the void. Aidan's blood ran cold. They sound like us. They are us, whispered the navigator. They're repeating our last transmissions. The Aurora Gate never returned. When a rescue fleet arrived 6 months later, all they found was silence, and a recording from the ship's final hours. In it, Captain Elora Vance screamed. It's not a hole, it's alive. The dark, it's listening. It knows our names. Then came static. Then a whisper, not human at all. You called to the light, and we answered the echo. The phenomenon spread. Systems once rich with colonies fell dark. Entire fleets went silent without distress calls. Probes sent to investigate returned corrupted, filled with whispers and fragments of prayer twisted into mockery. The Church of the Seraphim declared it the shadow of the angels, the reflection of divine light given form. Others, like Aidan, refused the mysticism. The universe responds to belief, he told the council. If our faith gave birth to angels, what happens when that faith begins to doubt? The council fell silent. They all knew the answer. The same energy that created light from human hope could birth darkness from human fear. It now had a name, the Nullborn. The Nullborn first manifested openly on Lyra 9, a lush frontier world of 10 million souls. At first, it came as a shadow on the horizon, a shimmer where no light should bend. Then came the voices, whispering the names of the dead, promising reunion, peace, forgiveness. People walked willingly into the darkness. None returned. By the time military intervention arrived, the entire continent was gone, erased, leaving behind a crater of smooth, black glass. The soldiers who survived spoke of shapes within the void, forms mimicking angels, but hollow. Wings of ash, eyes like dying stars. When command asked what they saw, one survivor simply said. It looked like us, but empty. Desperate, Aidan Sorrell returned to the archives of the dauntless expedition. He replayed Mira Solon's final transmission over and over. They said, belief is not ownership. Power given can be power lost. He realized, then, what the angels had tried to warn. They had not only given humanity light. They had given them balance. If faith could create, then despair could destroy. Every prayer whispered in hope fed the seraphic light. But every cry of fear, every act of cruelty, every moment of disbelief, fed something else. Something that had been waiting in the silence between stars. And now, it was awake. When the Nullborn reached the Sol system, the stars themselves flickered. The sun dimmed for 7 seconds of cosmic dread. And in that stillness, humanity prayed once more. Not to win, not to survive, but simply to be heard. And something answered. From the heart of Vesper Ridge, where Elias Grant's monument still stood, light erupted once more. The same golden brilliance that had once split the skies a century ago returned, blinding, beautiful, terrible. A figure stepped from the light, wounded, radiant, her wings torn and dim. The last of the angels. She spoke through every channel, every frequency, her voice trembling like a dying flame. We did not wish to return. The balance has broken. The shadow grows stronger than the light. You gave us form, and now your fear gives it hunger. Aiden stood before her projection, tears burning his eyes. Can we fight it? You cannot fight what was born from yourselves, she said. But you can choose what to feed. The light around her began to falter, her form flickering like static. Tell them, child of Earth, remember hope. Remember courage. Do not look away from the dark, because what you stare at too long will learn your face. And then she was gone. The world was left trembling beneath a sky that no longer sang. The Nullborn came not as fleets or armies, but as absent. Sensors failed, minds broke, memories dissolved. The more humanity fought, the more they feared, and the stronger the void became. But even in despair, humans refused to vanish quietly. They built ships called beacons, massive vessels whose cores were fueled not by plasma, but by the Vesper light, crystallized remnants of angelic energy. They sailed directly into the darkness, broadcasting human laughter, music, and prayers into the silent void. Most were never seen again. But the darkness slowed. For the first time, the Nullborn hesitated. In the records of the final transmission from the ship Aurora's wake, Captain Lyra Devon's voice was clear, calm, unshaken. If our hope makes angels, then let our defiance make fire. Moments later, the ship detonated its Vesper core, turning darkness into blinding light that spread across 1,000 parsecs. The blast tore a rift in the Nullborn itself. From within the broken veil came a sound, not a scream, but something almost like weeping. Then silence again. Humanity never learned whether the Nullborn was destroyed or merely sleeping. The stars began to shine once more, though fainter, as if scarred. Aiden recorded his final message to the descendants of Earth before vanishing with his expedition beyond known space. We are the spark between light and shadow. What we worship, we create. What we fear, we feed. If one day you feel the dark watching, do not despair. Look up, and remember that even the void learned our name, and trembled. Thousands of years later, far beyond the Milky Way, a human child on a distant world looked up at the stars. One of them flickered brighter than the rest, a single golden shimmer among billions. Her mother smiled softly. That's the Vesper star. It's where the angels came from. The child frowned. Do you think they'll come back? The mother looked to the heavens, and though she said nothing, a tear glistened in the starlight. And for just an instant, just before the stars dimmed again, she thought she saw a faint silhouette in the night sky. Wings of light, fading into the black. The angel did not return. But the hope remained. And as long as even one human heart could believe, the darkness would never win completely.